All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Sport webinar. Today's date is February 5th, 2018. This is a Monday night webinar, and the title of tonight's webinar is 7 Trades You Need to Know. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? If not, we are going to get started. All right, bear with me a second. I'm going to go ahead and show you a screen. Now, this is not necessarily in the order that I particularly like to take these trades, but I'm going to teach you tonight how to see. If it takes 2 webinars to do it, then so be it. We'll do it for the next one. But these are 7 trades that if you really learn how to do them and how to do them correctly, it can make a huge difference in your bottom line. Okay? And, just like I said, it's not necessarily in an order that I would use. KISS trades after breakout's one of my favorite. That's why I put it on top. Mid-band trades, I think that's Charles's absolute favorite trade. Box trades and time trades. Open is the best for those, obviously, or the oil open that we trade. I'm going to teach you the phantom trades if we get to that, the predictor trades, the stealth trades, and the trend line trades. Okay? So this is basically so you could pause it and you could write these down or something like that, or do a screenshot or something like that. Okay? But we're going to go ahead and go over to a chart because I actually got up this morning about 6:30 my time. So I'm going to show you how I diagnose charts and what I thought was going to kind of happen. Okay, let me show you. Should be able to see screen. My cursor's not moving. There we go. Cursor's moving now. All right, here's a little chart right here. Okay, now what kind of trade does this kind of look like to everyone? More than likely, of those trades that I just showed. What do you think? Several of you are getting it. Box trade, isn't it? It's a little box trade. And how can we tell that it is? Well, first off, we basically had a high, a low, and a much higher high than the swing. So when you get these retracements and you get these higher lows, there's a possibility you're going to get a nice little trade. And of course, you could box it in absolutely both ways, right? So the way to do that, and I'll show you on Object Trader. Let's go ahead and do Object Trader. Real quick, just a quick show of hands. Did any of you trade the markets this afternoon? I mean, I was watching newsfeed, and that one time it got so close to 1,600 down today. It was just insane. Yeah, it was literally wild. You know the indicator that'll actually trade that kind of a market is stealth. Because stealth, even if it gets broken or whatever, it'll grab those markets like that. I'll try to show some of that a little bit later, but I was kind of like everybody else. If you saw it dropping, you thought, well, if this retraces, I could get in on a rollover. But the whole thing is, yeah, there's lots of slippage. There's I saw that thing literally dropped like 160 ticks, and then within 1 minute had made every bit of that back. So, the speed of that market was too fast to trade. I know some of you did. I talked to some people this afternoon that did. You're more gutsy than I am because I already had my profits in for the day that we called in the room and everything, and I just didn't waste it. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over how to trade these little boxes. Now, what you want to do is you want to make sure that your max quantity, okay, is set no higher than you want it to be. Okay, now 10 contracts is a lot of contracts. I do the 10 a lot of times. If I'm going to do like an auto where I never get to that amount, but I've got that amount just in case. like a bar close type trade or something like that. But as a rule, you probably want to do, no more than 3 to 5, something like that. And, if you're comfortable with only 1 or 2, that's fine too. Okay. And another thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and set your profit targets and everything to where you're comfortable, with trying to attain. For instance, if I do 3 contracts, 10, 20, and 30, you might want to squeeze that up a little bit, because you don't necessarily get 30 ticks on a lot of moves to begin with. You do on a lot of them, though. But keep in mind that our targets are movable, so there's no big deal on that. Okay? So I'll go ahead and leave that just like this for right now. And this is on replay. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and just start it. Hopefully no problems loading it. Okay, here we go. We're loaded. All right, so let's go ahead, and just like I got up this morning, it took me about 10 minutes to get my computers up. I got one monitor that's going crazy. I've got to replace it. It will be blacked out when you first start out of all of my monitors, and you'll hold the power button in and it'll go away. You'll hold the power button, it'll go away. And I've looked online on that and everything, and it's usually a video card, but I switched the monitor's, video card settings and everything. That's not it. So monitor's got to be replaced. Anyway, that's just why I didn't have even though I got up at 6:30, it took me literally 20 minutes to get my monitor going. It took like 35 times, if I remember right, to get that thing to finally lock in. So it's going to get replaced very shortly. I've already found one. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a region. Now I want to show you how to actually box in a region by what you see, okay? Because, how many times have you actually boxed in and then you just barely get bipped in the trade and then it goes the other way? Doesn't that irritate the fire out of you? It does me, believe me, because I'm the same way as anybody else. I don't like to be upside down on a trade. Let's see, my PM is red, but keep in mind, Mindy, when you look at, for instance, like, stealth here, when I got up this morning, stealth was actually about this large by now. And I like to personally look at that because, stealth is actually a pretty good little indicator, the way it breaks and then fills back in and then breaks again, and you're going to find that a lot of times when you get this thrust up, pull back red and everything and get another green, those are usually pretty good. We've got a lot of people that like to trade, second stealth instead of first stealth. Now you had a little one right here, but then you had a red one, so that negates that one. So that's first stealth, second stealth. Okay, but keep in mind you could box it in both ways too. Okay, now what I would personally do if I was going to box it in both ways, I would actually do this. I would put my region more like this because I would want it to take out this support here. Okay, not just this support, because they could easily just break this, come down here and still bounce. Okay, now obviously the lightning is all the way down here, and I'm not going to box it that far down. I'll take a chance with it first. Okay, so let's go ahead and box this in. All right, always look to the left to trade the right, and usually I like to do like maybe a couple, okay, because 2 is $10 a tick, and it's not, that bad. Testing again, Kenneth, I saw it. Very good. This is going to be a monitor that goes under a desk that I've just got to stay with a certain size. The largest monitor that I can put under this little desk area that I've got is a 26-inch. And I had to do little stilts on my desk to do that to begin with so that I could do the 26. Probably just do like I think the other monitors are 24, but it will hold a 26. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can get a little trade here. Now, keep in mind, this is that boxed in trade that we talk about all the time, okay? Now, what you'd want to do is, of course, turn on your box to obviously take the trade, right? Which it did take the trade. Okay, so once you're in a trade like this and you're up. See, here's your little swing right there. That's not a bad little trade, by the way, and you could go ahead and, you know, protect your profit just in case it decides to come back against you. Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. If you take box trades like this, and keep in mind, you do not have to wait for that background to change. We box in above mid-band for longs and below mid-bands for shorts. That's the most rule of thumb. You and the reason for that is because when they break mid-band and then they come back and kiss it, you know, this mid-band, even though it's this color, is the same as this mid-band. You know, you get a thrust up and you kind of pull back into it and then they take off. And that happens quite often. Okay. So now that you've got this particular trade, let's talk about another one of my favorite trades. Let's go to, did I get rid of that webinar or did I? I must have shut it. Oh, well. My next favorite trade is predictor. Okay. Now, if you were in this trade and you were up like $155, do you get nervous and start hitting the button, like right up here, for instance, you know, and just take your $135? Or do you pretty much ride it like we teach? You know, like this is not even lightning just yet, but it's trying to be lightning. You see what I mean? And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll put it, you know, like with stealth or something like that. See, there's stealth right there, just in case they come back on top of this. Because I try to get a gusto trade if I possibly can. Okay. And, you know, if they pop up and pull back, you can always get out and back in, right? Okay. Because keep in mind, this mid band, just because it's here right now, doesn't mean it's going to be here later. Okay. Mid band could actually be up here. You know, mid band's going to actually keep growing, so to speak, you know, as the prices move up. Okay, let's see. Oh, I understand, Mindy. One thing about this, though, that, you know, I'm always the type that will put down a box, to give an example, or take a trade like on a trend line or something like that and test the waters. Because, you know, some of the trades that you'll get some of the absolute best profit on, you're going to find are going to be, you know, when they just start breaking like above mid-band. This one would have even worked. I mean, it got a 10-tick trade. See what I mean? Even if you box this in, that's the same thing as boxing. Well, basically, you would have boxed in here. Stop would have been under the swing. Here, you would have boxed in here, and then it thrust up, retrace, thrust up, pulls down, little lower high, you take it off. So you would have gotten one contract that did, or two contracts even. Well, if you only did two, you would have gotten one trade, stopped out on the other one. Okay, so let's look and see if we can get in my second trade that I like really well. But keep in mind that I like to ride a trade until it basically gives up the ghost. Matter of fact, I would not be a bit afraid of that trade right there. See how it just jumped a little bit? See how I added to that and got some extra coin on it? And then you could take some off really quickly, like on a bar close. You know, I'll just show you how I do that. If it closes down, of course, guess what? We got a tool for that, don't we? And we could take two off, couldn't we, if that bar closes down? We could ride our runner. Okay? And see, we're still in one. Now, look where mid-band is now. So what do we expect on this trade if we're going to continue going up? We expect the lightning, right? Thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust. So the way we draw on our charts, they cannot take out that swing right there. If they do, it's no longer going up. Okay, that's right now. But we're looking for a mid-band trade to see if we can get what we call a predictor trade. That's another one of my favorite trades. Let's see if we can get a predictor trade. Matter of fact, I'll just take a chance on one contract on predictor. And it's going to be out, and we're going to do like a touch plus like one. All right, that already popped in the extra contract. See there? Okay, that's a predictor trade. Now, if I was a little bit scared of this going against me, I would put my stop right under here because that's a high, a low, and a much higher high. So we're still trending upward. Okay. We don't want it to come all the way down here because if it comes all the way down here, then we could get even a phantom. See how it's doing so far? We're still okay on it. Okay. Now, what about a trend line trade? You want to try one of those? Let's just see if we can get a trend line. It's starting a trend line right now, isn't it? It's trying to. Let's see if we can get a trend line. We'll do a wedge trade. That made a little thrust retrace, kind of trying to retrace a little bit, isn't it? So could I do a touch, like say touch plus 2 above that line? And if it gives me a better trend line than that, I'll draw it even tighter. Let's see if that little trade will work. How come no kiss? That was a kiss trade, by the way, but I missed that one. Okay. It was also a predictor trade. So it's kind of both. What Mindy's talking about right here is this trade. See how you had a little swing area right here? It thrusts up, it pulls into it and checks it right across there and then bounces. That's a kiss trade. That's one of my absolute favorite trades. And see, until they, they give up the ghost, so to speak, and quit heading up, you got nothing to worry about on this trade. Okay. Now the only way we've got something to worry about is if they do an A, B, C, and actually take this out. But then we'd be stopped out of our trade. That's actually a little bit smaller one. That's correct, Lewis, on your question. That is smaller. I'll show you a trade here in just a little bit too that we actually called in the room on RTY, but it's about an hour from this time that we've got right here. Not an hour on our time because we're running this at least at 5 to 8 times faster. Okay. Now see, that's coming down, but you got a higher low, a little higher low, and if it takes that out, we'll add one contract. That's a trend line type trade. Still testing, got a higher low, and we should get there we go, third contract. Everybody see how that works? Now let's talk about another trade. Let's say, for instance, that you weren't even in this trade. I don't know, this may just blow up and go crazy, but let's talk about another trade that's one of my favorite, and that's the kiss trade. All right, let's see if we can break above this swing. See, it's an identified swing that's now resistance, right? So what if it becomes support? Let's see if we can get it. I'll just do one if we can catch it. See if we can get it. It's got to pop up a little bit first and then pull back and kiss. This will be called a kiss trade. I'll go ahead and turn sniper on if that pops up. Sniper, we'll do a little bottom one right there. Long touch plus 1. Okay. All right, let's see if we can get a kiss trade. It may just blow up. That's fine if it does. Okay, we got a little kiss trade. Everybody see that? Turn it on again, might get another one. Might not. I could do it like touch plus 3 and I'll probably get one. Yep, I will now. Nope, must have been 3 already. But guess what? You could even do this if you wanted to. Now that would be more of a breakout. That would be if it takes out that little swing to the left there. You'll see that it will add, but I wouldn't normally do that at all. This looks pretty strong though. See if we can get extra contracts. See there? Okay. Now, where would your stop be? Anybody? Shouldn't, well, I did hit enter because it has this little dot here. See the dot right there? Anytime you move it, yeah, you do have to hit enter. That's something technically that's already fixed because you don't even have to use sniper. You can actually use the ray. You know, for instance, you want to see if we can get another kiss? We'll see if we can get another kiss. Okay, so if we kissed here, we're not going to kiss there again, right? Looking to the left to trade the right, we're either going to kiss here or we're going to kiss right here on this little swing right there to get a higher low. Okay, so let's see if we can get that little trade. And by the way, you could even do a ray instead if you don't want to use sniper. You know, use a wedge instead. Let's go ahead and bring this down a little bit. See, because it'll do a horizontal line too. You don't have to use, whoop, move the wrong one. You don't have to use sniper. You can actually use this one. Let's see, it's not going to come that low. I would expect it. It's already been there. I'll try there. Let's just see if it'll do a kiss trade. You see what I'm doing? I'm just looking at the previous little swings. Now, lightning wise, this should be my stop to begin with, right? So I can go ahead and put my stop nice and tight, a couple of ticks underneath there, and put it on exit on close. Okay? Everybody see that? That's not a bad way to trade and do a pretty good job of trading. Let's see if it'll pull back. We'll do a wedge, touch plus, we'll do a touch plus 2. Now, long out means that it'll actually do above by 2 ticks, and long inside means it'll do above by 2 ticks also. So that's technically the same trade. Because what it's looking at is this line. Long inside would be 2 ticks above. Long outside would be 2 ticks this way. So it's going to fire that one because it would have to actually come through it for the long outside. Let's see if we can get it. Can't believe I got rid of my chart. I've got these written down though, so I don't have to show the chart anymore. So we've gone over the kiss trade, right? Everybody sees how to do that, right? You just look for a kiss. Didn't go over mid-band, but I think you can clearly see that there's some good mid-band trades there too. Let's see if this will come back a little bit. It needs to come back right on top. Now it needs to come right on top of here instead. Everybody see that? Stop will be right there. See there? See how it kissed just like we wanted it to. Okay, stop's going to be right underneath the swing, close of the bar. Now the only time this type of trading won't work is if you're trying to trade 4 charts at the open. Because believe me, you need to concentrate on where these little swings and everything are. Okay? Because if this was to break up again, where do you think the next swing's going to be? I can see it already. I know a bunch of you can. Okay, because you've been with us a long time. But let me just show you before it ever gets there. And that's if we don't get a breakdown, obviously. But if this breaks up above this swing, it will come back and kiss it. Or close to it. Okay, so let's just pretend you're not in anything at all. All right, let's just take this off. Let's just take a chance at this. I'm going to do a, well, let's just do a sniper. Long inside. And we'll do touch plus 2. Let's just see if it comes down into here at all and gives us another trade. May go higher first. There's a little kiss trade. See that? A little kiss trade. See how it came right where I thought it would. Matter of fact, let's just add one if it comes back again. If it comes, well, we're going to have to move this out of the way to do that. See if it comes back one more time. Didn't come close enough. That's okay. Now I'd move this up a little bit because it looks to me like it's going to kiss right through here. Hit my sniper again. Because you should get higher lows. There you go. Got you an extra one. Stop will be right underneath that swing right there as soon as this closes up. If it closes up. Gonna add one more? Nope, missed it. Okay, everybody see how to do a kiss trade? That is one of my favorite trades. Now, when that trade quits working, you're no longer heading the direction that you're going with your trade. But keep in mind that as long as you're getting higher lows and higher highs on each of these swings, these kiss trades work beautifully. Okay, try it in sim if you don't believe it, because they do work. Okay, let's go ahead and get our target out of the way. Stop's just right underneath the swing. And remember what I said when we opened the room this morning? I said Russell had been going up literally for about an hour. And what did I say to do at the open of the 7:59? We're not there yet, but we're getting close. We're about 16 minutes away. We box them in, don't we? Ergo, the next trade that I like really well is the box trade. So anytime you get close to an open of a market, even if it's oil, to give an example, because you notice that these things move pretty good, you know, when oil does its thing. Okay, so a lot of times what I will do, I'll tighten my stop and check your object trader. Matter of fact, let's just close it out. And what we're going to do is we're going to show another one of my favorite trades, because this is actually the time trade. So let's go to our strategy. Wrong one. That's indicators. Strategy. Turn it to false so that we can change things. And then we're going to actually set our time trader for February the 5th, 7:59. About 30 minutes is fine. Okay. And we're going to actually utilize time trader. And we'll change that back to true. All right, so we're utilizing time trader right now. It's 7:50 right now, according to the clock that I've got. All right, so we're going to put this on time trade. We're going to do either direction. You could even do a reverse on it as far as that goes. And we'll do a couple of contracts. This little trade actually works pretty well a lot of days. We've got some of our people that just love this trade. Okay, 7:52. We'll go ahead and go like 50 times so we can get there fairly quick. 7:57, 7:58, there's close enough. 7:59, there's our little white box that draws, but our green box will not draw until a bar closes. Okay, so as soon as that bar closes right here, we will get the box. There you go. You just got the box. Now, usually what I like to do is quickly see where my swing is, and then I'm good to go. Okay, now keep in mind that my swing's also all the way under that too. Okay, so if you feel more comfortable like this, then by all means do that. But keep in mind that you might miss some, some pretty good trades too, because you can also tighten this up, even though it's a time type deal. See where you got this little box here? See that little white box right there? I can go ahead and take a shot at this and see if it'll go ahead and work by tightening my box up. The reason we made time trader where it would do this was so that you could have it do time trade, but then you can actually control the size of your box. Okay, which I like to do personally, because if I take this trade and it doesn't go my way pretty quickly, I might even just try like one contract to give an example. Okay, and then if this was to bust out, pull back and kiss and then roll, guess what? That would be another one that I like too, and that would be more of a kiss trade. Because what do you think is going to happen actually right here? Because just by what I taught, don't you think if they break this right here, that's a swing, right? Don't you think they're going to kiss it? And I can just about bet you that they do, because they'll break, they'll get somebody in a trade, they'll go with like 3 or 4 contracts, and then they'll wonder why they make a couple of $100 and this right back in their face. Watch it and see, because I'm pretty sure this did this today. We called this trade in the room. You got your short, okay? Got your short. Now, what do you want to bet that this probably breaks down, comes back and kisses that box? So you're looking at the bottom of the box, touch, plus like 2. I think it already did it. See it? Already did it. Let's see if we can get it. We might be able to get it if it'll actually retrace. I'm going to go touch plus 3. There we go. We just got 2. Okay. See how that works? Break, kiss. All right. Now, does anybody remember where this thing actually went after we opened the room this morning? We even said to box it in right here, remember? Like so. Remember this little trade that we talked about in the room this morning? Because we said box it in, and see, there's your swing to the left. There's your little swing underneath. You don't want to take this just when it breaks this, because there's resistance right here at the top of that box. Okay? But watch what this actually did. This actually just literally busted through here and headed down. And you know we called it, because we did call it in the room this morning. So even though this is market replay, what I'm trying to show you though is how to get in these trades, in real time. And to me, this is the best way to do it. There you go. You just got your 3rd contract. Now, was that a beautiful trade or what? Speaking of trade, that was a monster trade. Anybody remember it? And where did we call this trade out? Anybody remember that too? Look to the left to trade the right. And I'll just about bet you that it bounced right in through here. And do you know what you can actually do now? Now, I know this happened, so this wouldn't be fair, but you see support right here? Did you know you got a deal on here that actually says target 1 to reverse? See there? Isn't that cool? Now, I'd put a tight stop. I was just showing you that just so you can see that we got the tool that'll do that. It's a pretty cool feature. Okay? I bet a lot of you didn't even know that did that on Object Trader, did you? Like I say, it's a pretty cool feature. Now, 832, we had another band. Everybody remember this? They came down and they tested. What trade, if you were looking at this is only going one time, so you got to think quickly. Where's the next trade on this chart? They're not taking out support. You just opened the market. Anybody? Quick thinking. Okay, so far you got a little swing right across here. See it? Right across there. All right, that's under mid-band. But I don't mind that trade too much, at the market opens. And also, guess what? There's another trade here called stealth. That's actually a pretty decent little trade too. See how that's starting to dance around mid-band? We also called this trade in the room too. Now, usually when I draw a line on a chart like this, especially at the open, keep in mind at the open, I don't care if this has been going down 100 ticks at the open, they do what they want to do, and you've got to be ready for them, because we did actually call this trade in the room. There's your little box, by the way, at 832. So if you box this in, there you go. Wouldn't you box it from, see stealth, how stealth got in that trade? Okay. What if you missed that trade though? Anybody? What do you think if you missed that trade? What's your next trade on this chart? Anybody? You got a green midband. So aren't you looking for like a green predictor or a midband trade? So let's see. Thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust. Okay, so they haven't checked this top, so that swing is not identified. See it? This swing is identified, but just barely. This is where they broke out, right here. See it right there, kiss trade? Comes within a tick. Now, I'd put a pretty tight stop because they move these markets fairly quick. Everybody see that? Okay. Always look to the left to trade the right, and you're going to see where they've been and where they should go. Now, what if you missed this little trade? Could you actually, we're in 4, let's just kill. Let's just see if we can do a little box. Do you see a box right here? Foreman, you got 4 candles. Got to think quick. Could you take that trade? And even this trade right here. That's already got that one, so we're good. And we'll put our stop right underneath the swing. We see that? Now that's boxing in, like above midband. If you've had a retrace like that, that's not a bad little trade. Okay, so that actually goes over, the kiss trade. That's a midband trade, by the way, but it didn't quite come down to midband, but they don't always. But if you look to the left to trade the right, you'll see where they're supposed to come back. Notice that I drew that line ahead of time. The reason for that is, where'd my chart go? Bear with me a second. Okay. See how thrust, retrace, just a little bitty, but they check these. I mean, if you learn to see this in real time, you'll actually change your trading so much it'll be incredible. Because I also see this right now as going the opposite direction if they decided to take this out. But what are they doing right now? Thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust. I haven't thrusted again yet, but won't this be your new stop if they go ahead and take out this swing over here to the left? And the answer is yes, right? Let's see if they'll take it out. Almost. There you go. Couldn't you put your stop right there now? Right underneath that swing? And then what would you do after that? Ride your runner, right? What if you missed this entire trade? Could you get a kiss trade? There's pretty close to a kiss trade right there. See that? Came within a tick. That's a kiss trade. Now, what if it goes deeper? Well, then I made the wrong decision because it could be over. But if it kisses and goes up, then I probably made the right decision. And then I could actually tighten my stop just in case. See there? Comes back and kisses. One of my absolute favorite trades is a kiss trade. Now, when kiss trades will not work, and you got to be careful if things are going sideways, you can still trade them like that, but what you want to do when things are going sideways is you want to actually trade the channels. Let's see, how many bars up from 1539 does it need to go up before you should take a kiss? Well, Mindy, on your question, what I like to personally look at is, how many places have they actually kissed? For instance, let's just pause this for just a second. That way we can not lose my train of thought here. All right, so let's look at it right here. You had a little, let me get rid of this. Let's put that on. Okay, see this little consolidation patch even? I'll show you how they kiss. See, they break up a little bit, they kiss into the deal. They break up like so. They come within a couple of ticks and kiss again. They break again. This one, they come back and kiss. See how that's kissing inside my box right there, right on top of that swing? So you expect the same thing right here. They broke up, so you expect them to kiss, right? And they did. See that little swing, that little thrust retrace right there? That's a little kiss. Okay? Now, if they decided to come back again, then they kiss on top of this box right here. Okay? But keep in mind that what we call the lightning swing, thrust, retrace, thrust, this is actually our micro swing. So if they break that, they're no longer heading up, they're actually heading deeper with a mid-band type trade. I'll show you that in real time. Let's just see if it does. I'll speed it up a little bit. See there? See how you're getting higher lows and higher highs? So let's look at that same thing. Did it kiss on top of this one right here? Not quite on that one, did it? You know, they're really in the mood to go up, but what do you think? Will they kiss? What do you think? Let's look at it. Let's see how many thrusts they've had so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, if you put our other background on here, this is running fairly close to out of steam to me. Bounced right off our swing, just like we wanted it to. See that? Put my line right on top of that swing. Now, will they take me out now? They might. But they might not, because that's a kiss trade. Could I have actually added let's just get this out of the way for a minute. Could I have added, for instance, right here? You'd probably have to do a sniper touch plus like 3 if you're ever going to get that one. And I'd probably do it about like that. Let's see if we can get it. Ooh, that's a nice mid-band trade. Nice mid-band trade. That's that mid-band trade that I like an awful lot. But you want to see if you can get in this trade even on a kiss. Because see, they broke resistance. How many want to bet that they'll thrust up and they'll pull back and kiss this line? Now, they haven't thrust up yet. Let's watch and see if they will. They should come back and kiss right on top of where they broke up. Let's see if they do. Let's speed it up a little bit. A little higher. There you go. Okay, let's see if they'll come back and kiss that line. There you go. Could you take a chance on that trade like that? How about that? Kiss a little deeper on that one. That's okay. Sometimes they'll kiss these little micros, but they won't take out the medium swing. See how that held on that? So we're good to go. But that's absolutely the way that you can trade these things, and they just do a wonderful job. But keep in mind, where is our actual breakdown if this does decide to head down instead of up? Anybody? Let's go ahead and kill it for a second. Let's see if we can figure it out. Let's go ahead and get rid of our dots. Okay, so if they break 140.20, now if they double top here, you could actually short this thing, but we're not going to go into that tonight because I'll bet you probably could more than likely. But we'll see. They'll probably go a little higher and then pull it back. That's what they usually do when they start running out of steam. But where do you think, if you were looking at this thing and said, you know what, if this breaks this top, where's my identified swing? See how it took it out? See how it took out that swing right there? Now, let me ask you a quick question on that. Could you short that if it touches that swing? And the answer is yes. Matter of fact, it already actually touched it, so it's a little bit late now. Okay, you've got a swing right up here. Okay, so if they do decide to roll over, and we've missed this little trade right here, but keep in mind that we know already that they broke right here. Okay, they're kissing it right now. Okay, let's see if we can take a quick. Try to get that little swing right there. And if this one doesn't work, I'm going to close this if that bar closes up. Yep, closed. All right, reason for that is because it's breaking to the upside, but until it takes this out, I'm not sure this is going up because that turned my background red. Okay, this is not at the open anymore, so you got to really watch these backgrounds and these mid bands. Okay, so what I would do in this case would be to put my line in as support. Let me get rid of that dot there just real quick. Bear with me a second. And I'm going to put a short, okay? Or I will go a long. What do you think? Let's see here. We're going to have to go above here, though, to go long. Everybody see that? Why? Because that's my swing. So let's see if we get something like that. Trying to roll over, not doing such a good job so far. It's trying to roll over, though, isn't it? Now, you could take that technically about, I think, about right now myself, because it's actually breaking a third bar down. You want to, we'll wait till it breaks support, though, just simply because it's a safer trade. Okay, now I'll also go long if it takes that out now, because it's right at support. It's got a red background, so we're pretty sure that it's going to head down, not up, because of that red background and that mid band. And why didn't that fire my trade? I'll bet I didn't hit enter. Doggone it. No, I did hit enter. Why did you not fire my trade there, sniper? That should have fired there. And I'm not sure exactly why it didn't. Let me see if I can. I'll get another trade instead. Let me get rid of these sniper dots. Okay, let's see if we can get a kiss trade. Close. Well, I missed that one. Let's see if we can get a stealth trade instead then. We'll see if we can get a stealth trade. Now, it hadn't been up to this line just yet. Let's see if we can get that line trade actually. Because see, they came up above it, so they usually test it, but they technically tested it here. Here we're going. Let's see if predictor. Predictor trade, if we can get it. Another one of my favorite trades. Don't chase a trade, though. Where will we take this if this doesn't come up to where I want it to? What's the team say? I would want it to break and then kiss. This looks like we might get this trade. Predictor, nope, not yet. You haven't kissed that line yet, and I know you're going to. Always do. Speed it up just a little bit. Sure it is. There it is, predictor. Okay, now I'd put a stop fairly tight on this just in case this decides to break to the upside, like maybe the middle of that predictor, just in case. Everybody see that? And then let's look to the left to trade the right and see where it should be heading. All right, I'd put 1 at the bottom because it's already been down here, so I think it'll even go here. And then I would probably just let the other one run. Now, if you were trading this in your real time and everything, could you be ready for any situation just in case it comes up? Because, see, that's a predictor trade right there. We've talked about stealth trade, trendline trade. That's a predictor. Mid-band trades. Really, we are getting to all of them tonight. Okay? Now, here's another one that I like too. See this one right here? We may not get it in time. We'll find out. Stealth, baby. This looks like it's going to head down a little bit more. At lightning, we didn't talk about lightning, actually, did we? That's all right. We did get the stealth trade, though. Everybody see the stealth right there? I turned it on in time to get it. And just like always, every single trade, you've got to know where your stop needs to be. And to me, lightning, see, you've got a little thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust. This is your first lightning right here, like so. And that's where I would put it, especially since it's breaking down that hard. Everybody see that? Works out pretty well. Okay? Now, let me ask you another question. If this was to decide to turn around, where would you think it would be? If it does. Because you got to be ready for every circumstance just in case. So you have a high, low, lower high, same low, but it did take it out. So this is our medium swing right here. If they were to take out 37.80, as of now anyway, I would be expecting this thing to head the other way. But if they continue heading down, we're going to stick with this because we've got our swing in right across here. And I'd probably take off 2 just simply because that's trying to retrace a little bit. So I'd cover it if that bar doesn't close down. Close down so we're okay. I'd probably tighten it. And the reason for that is because you can hang on to the most of your money if you do. Okay, nice tight trades. You don't have to go all the way to mid-band because how many times you've been to mid-band and it flips on you? Plenty of times, right? Let me see if I'm missing any questions because I'm just rattling on and on. Is everybody catching these kind of trades tonight? Oh, absolutely, Lewis, on your question. We like to pull the stop down to where lightning is. You can even use lightning as the stop itself. See, if this heads down again, then that's going to be our swing, and it should hold. Looks like it is. Yep, it's holding. Okay. All right. Now, I would probably, more than likely, if this even decides to try to come back at all, I'd take 2 off because 4 is a lot, and you don't want them to retrace on you. Okay, with 4. With 2, it's okay. But even with 2, that's a $100 bill. Just up to here is probably 130. Okay, so you don't have to do that. Matter of fact, you can even take 1 more off just in case because you don't want to keep giving them all of your money back. Okay, especially when they take these bottoms out just barely like I just saw. Okay. Reinforcement learning exercise. Yes, sir. Well, the one thing, when anybody's in our room, you hear these trades to begin with. Matter of fact, I'll just pause this again and we'll go over some of these. This trade right here at the open, we nailed that trade right there. We talked about boxing it in, remember? And don't you just hate the way they do this, though? But see, that's the beauty of kissing. You box it in, they break, and then they come back and kiss it. So you take some coin, and then they kiss, and you had again. That's when you get these monster moves, okay? Because what do? They break, they pull back. They break, they pull back. They break, they pull back. Always kissing. When they break micro, they check medium. When they break medium, they break support, don't they? Because see, even though this was a double top, technically, anytime you look at these yellow bars like this or different colored bars, that means they're coming deeper than they normally do. So that's what we call a medium swing. Notice that it even had a number on it, but this number didn't show up right here. It showed up more right through here. Okay, because it has to figure out a certain amount of bars before it knows where that number is. But it was there before you ever got this, where it actually broke. And you can take that trade. By the way, keep in mind, if you take this trade right here, make sure it just doesn't go against you. Because they'll usually go back and check. And if they take it out, they take it out. I remember Charles on this trade this morning. He got this trade right here because he said box it in, and he said put your stop at mid-band, and he got stopped out right here. But remember, I even called it again where we took out that line, and we got that trade. So it turned out to be a pretty nice little trade. See how it kissed? Always kissing. You know, they're like a bunch of teenagers. You know, they just like to, I guess they're romantic on the bars or something, because as a rule, you're going to get those kiss trades. They're pretty good. Okay. Now, if you were trading this trade right here, do you see a low, a high, and a lower low even? You know, this is a risky trade in my opinion, but there's a lot of times that you can literally actually put that stop where we showed to do it and do that with it. But keep in mind that if you do that, let me just show you. See, that a lot of times will actually just go up and up and up and keep going. But what if you missed it? Okay, because remember, we missed this little trade this morning. We thought, oh my goodness, look at that thing go up there. But what trade did we get? Anybody remember? Look to the left and you'll see it. Let's look at our lightning swings, and we're gonna see it. We got a predictor already drawn, but let's draw our lightning and see where they've kissed, where they've checked. You gonna draw for me or not? That's good enough. Let's draw it. It should draw from there. Let's draw it from here. There we go. All right, so you had a thrust up above here, so they haven't checked that, have they? They also thrust up above here, and they didn't check it. See how they barely missed it? So I draw two lines on my chart, like so. This is a sweet spot for Russell to pull back. And if it gets anywhere in that little square right there, I would be firing a trade. You'll see if it did. What do you think? What about 3? Tight stop. See how that works? They come right back to where they have not checked. If I could automate this, that'd be one killer trade. The only thing is, though, that with an automated, rather than seeing things like we do in the room, you would be prone to getting a trade like that in chop also. And in chop, we don't trade that trade. But didn't this actually break up above, you know, where we had our stop and everything? You know, you can take those trades like that. Just be very careful if they're like really close to mid-band and they bip up and then they roll. Then just get right out. Okay? But you don't have to hold a trade. You know, for instance, if you drew a trend line through here, wasn't that trade already giving up the ghost right through there? And then you had your stop right here. See, it was giving up the ghost on that trend line, and look what happened. It actually went up. Those trend line trades can be super for you because they'll get you in, well, some really good trades, as a matter of fact. Okay, you want to see if we can come up with another trade, and I'll show you a conservative trade if we can find one. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Let's see if we can find a conservative trade. I'm going to speed it up a little bit because we've got a thrust. We need a pullback. There's a little pullback, okay? We're starting to get a pullback. Let's look and see where it's been and where it's going. All right, so a little swing right across here. There's a swing right here that they cannot take out if they're going to head up. See the high, the low, higher high. So they cannot take out 37.30. Everybody see that? So what do you think? More than likely, this is a little sweet spot. Matter of fact, there's a swing they hadn't checked. Well, they did check that one. But let's draw a box there. Let's see if we can get a little trade. And always, by the way, here's another one that I like. See the A, the B, the C. Okay? Those ABCs are good. Conservative trade, by the way, would be boxing it in. Didn't we say to box this in the room this morning? So where do you think it would box? Plenty of time to box it. There you go. Just got you a trade. Everybody see that? And it came right down to where you thought it would, because they're always going to check where they haven't checked before. They're either going to check the tops or they'll check all the way to the bottoms, just like it did. See this line I drew? They hadn't checked that yet, and they checked it. Okay? Now, will you get every single trade when you're trading? No. This turned out to be just absolutely a phenomenal, one of those days that thrust and retrace perfectly. And then more than likely, you did not want to trade when the market started just really flipping around like a yo-yo. That was the fastest moves. Anybody trade that this afternoon? I know I asked that a little bit earlier, but I didn't have everybody in the room at the time. So, right, Mindy, when we say medium, okay, let me just go over some things and we'll wrap pretty quick because we're right at an hour, but I'm gonna go ahead and pause this. Okay, remember, if they break micro, okay, see this high, this low, this higher high, that's your micro swing right here, okay, on the left. Now notice they broke it. So when they break micro, they go down and check these medium swings. This is your medium swing to the left, high, low, higher high, okay? So if they're going to head up, they had to give you a higher low, because what's the rule of thumb on trading uptrend? Low, high, higher low, higher high, right? Okay, so when they stop doing that, then you're not going that same direction, right? Okay, you want to see how this actually turned out? Let's play it fast just for the fun of it. Kissed. Everybody see that kiss? Where would you stop? Well, we already flattened. But everybody see that? We had that line drawn in plenty of time. And what do they do all the time? They will kiss. And that's why that's one of my absolute favorite trades. Okay, watch it when you get up to these predictors that are way out of sight like this. If they break micro, they'll come down and check medium. Okay, you want to see if they actually did that? We'll find out. Not yet. Checked medium, didn't they? Isn't that amazing? See there? Broke micro, checked medium, and gave you another run. Okay? Let's see, Lewis, can we do that in the morning, if that'd be okay? Because that way I can take the time. Now, real quick though, before we leave, does everybody see a little bit more why these are some really good favorite trades? The reason that we use 4-range charts is because they are so fast and so dynamic that you can make some very, very good trade decisions. If you could have traded fast enough earlier today, you could have done, some monster trades. Where is your medium swing on this chart right now? Anybody? Isn't it right there? High, low, higher high? Don't know for sure, but let's just see. Look at that. I just fired one too quick. But everybody see that? Came right down to my line. Perfectly down to my line. If they break micro, they come and check medium. And at the time when they checked that, they had a high, a low, a lower high, so they checked the swing. Okay? That's absolutely what they do. And then, where would this change trends if it decided to break? Anybody? Let's watch and see, because I think I can see it. That's a double top. If it takes that out, that'll be our swing. Otherwise, it's this one right here. Yep, took it out. And there you go. You just broke. Now, where's your next trade on this chart? Anybody? Where has it not been so far? You got to think quick. How about predictor? Look to the left to trade the right. You got a swing right across there. Predictor says it's there also. Let's just take a shot at it. 2. I may go too fast on that, but maybe not. Let's just do predictor instead. There's predictor. Touch plus 2. If it doesn't get past predict, there you go. Just got it. Put our stop right at the swing. And you just got you another nice trade. Okay? That's the way you do it. And I can tell you this, that if you'll do this every day and don't be scared of it, try it in sim at first, but learn to see the left of the chart. It's really important to see it. Okay? When will this actually change trends? Anybody? I think I know already. You want to see? Right there. Breaks up. Pulls back and kisses. See that? That's a kiss trade. Now, did that necessarily have to work? No. But notice that it did, because it thrust up above, it pulled back and kissed. It was a beautiful trade. Okay? All right, everyone. Thanks for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll trade tomorrow. Now, one word of advice for tomorrow. The markets hit nearly 1,600 down. They may test those. And the algorithms are running, pretty solid on these markets right now. So you got to be really, really careful, because I literally watched in the afternoon. I don't know if I've got that much data, but let's just play it at 500 times and just see. This was about in the 1 o'clock area, so it might take a few minutes. Not going to make any trades, just going to watch. And then you'll see it actually within 1 minute was dropping 100 ticks. It was insane. I've literally never seen anything like it. It's a type that scares me, and I can read charts darn well, as you know, but you see how that kissed the line that I had drawn? I would have shorted that. But the whole thing is that when it's moving that fast, it doesn't even give you time to think. I mean, you're thinking, wow, when do I get in this? Do I short it now? See what I mean? It was just moving all over the place. It was like it was turned on to 500 times or even more, because it was moving faster than this. But anyway, I probably can't get there, because it's even at 500 times, it's going to take about another 10 minutes. But I think everybody saw that, right? It was just a monster box in. You would have gotten your quick little short. See it right there at mid-band. Put your stop just above the swing. Ride your lightning. Just like every trade we take and teach. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap. We'll watch the charts tomorrow, and we'll be very, very careful on our trade calls, especially if they're moving quickly. Okay? Exactly. Ed said that RTY moved over 10 points in 3 minutes. I saw NQ move 168 ticks in less than a minute today. I started to hit the button, and then I thought, my gosh, this is, it's too fast. And if you got on the wrong side of it and they decided to whip it up while you were trying to short it, I watched it literally drop like 400 ticks and then bounce 200 of them in your face in less than 30 seconds. It was just ultra fast. All right. Thanks, everyone, for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, amazingly in sim, you probably did do well. It would be scary to do that much with, one contract even. You could be down 150 bucks in just a matter of, seconds as far as that goes. All right, we'll see everybody in the morning. Thanks for coming tonight. Kenneth, let me know on Skype if that closes out your webinar properly and everything. But I'm closing it out right now. So we'll see everybody tomorrow morning. Thanks.